Learning poker strategy can dramatically increase your profits from the game. But when you factor in hand odds, opponent tendencies, and starting hands, there's a lot to remember with poker strategy. This is where PokerPal comes in. PokerPal is RakeTheRake's free in-play app that provides players with a number of helpful tools for playing hands. The tools offered range from fundamental knowledge, such as hand rankings and starting hand odds, to more advanced concepts, like figuring out what cards your opponents are likely playing. And the best thing about PokerPal is that it's very easy to use, which means it won't slow you down during hands. Beginning with the basics, players who are unfamiliar with starting hand rankings can simply click the Hand Rankings option under In-Play Tools. For example, this list shows you that a full house trumps a flush, which could be useful when you're deciding whether to call a large bet or make a big raise. Now let's say you want to know what your odds are of being dealt certain hands pre-flop. For example, your odds of being dealt pocket aces, kings, queens, or jacks are 54.3 to 1, or 1.81%. If you had pocket jacks and wanted to know what the chances are of an individual player having a better hand, you can see that each player has 72.7 to 1 odds of being dealt pocket aces, kings, or queens. Assume that you're dealt a pair of eights while sitting in middle position in a full ring game. If you're unsure about what to do with this hand pre-flop, you can click the Starting Hands When to Open option under In-Play Tools. From here, you would use the drop-down arrow to select Middle Position under the Full Ring section. After reviewing this, you'd see that PokerPal advises opening the betting with pocket eights in middle position. Now let's say you're still in middle position with pocket eights, but somebody from an early position has made a raise. In this situation, you can select Starting Hands When to Call a Raise. You can then choose pocket eights from Group D. Here, you'll see that PokerPal does not advise either re-raising or calling in this situation, so you should fold. Moving to a slightly more advanced concept, PokerPal is also very useful for defining your opponent's range of playable hands. For instance, let's say that you notice an opponent who rarely plays any hands. You could categorize this player as super tight and use PokerPal to see what specific cards they're most likely playing. Keeping this knowledge in mind, you'd have a good idea to fold pocket sixes in middle position if this super tight player raises from early position. Beginner poker players will find the flop odds section to be quite helpful. Here, you can see what your odds of flopping specific hands are based on your whole cards. For example, if you're dealt ace-jack suited and you want to know your chances of flopping a flush, you'll see that the odds of this happening are 118 to 1, or 0.84%. As with flop odds, PokerPal also covers turn and river odds under In-Play Tools. This shows your chances of making certain hands by the turn or river based on whole cards. To illustrate how this works, let's say that your whole cards are 7-8 offsuit on a rainbow board of 9-10-3. Here, you have an open-ended straight draw, and PokerPal would show you that your odds of hitting a straight by the turn or river are 2.175 to 1, or 31.5%. Many players find that it's more useful to know the odds of making a hand by the exact next card rather than by the turn or river. This is where the PokerPal drawing odds section comes into play. So, if your whole cards were Jack of Spades, 10 of Spades on a board of 6 of Spades, Ace of Spades, 3 of Diamonds, you would be chasing a flush, and by consulting the drawing odds option under In-Play Tools, you'll see that your odds of hitting this flush by the turn card are 1.86 to 1, or 19.1%. When combined with the concept of pot odds, which enables players to know whether a specific call is profitable or not based on the long term, drawing odds are extremely useful. So, if you had a 19.1% chance of completing your flush by the turn, and you only had to contribute 10% of the pot to call, this would be a profitable long-term move based on pot odds. Sometimes in poker, you'll be faced with a tough decision involving whether to go all-in pre-flop or not. But before you commit to shipping your chips, it's a good idea to consult PokerPal's Pre-Flop All-In Hand Matchup section. Here, you can see what your hand's chances of winning pre-flop are against specific cards. So, if you hold Ace-Jack and you strongly believe that an opponent will only go all-in pre-flop with pocket jacks or better, you'll see that, at best, you only have a 30% chance of winning. Check out our top in-play poker tips for further advice on making your game more profitable. It covers everything from bankroll management to how to get a rakeback deal. In addition to all the helpful odds and strategy advice that PokerPal offers, this app also provides direct links into RakeTheRake.com. So, if you want to view Rake the Rake's latest promotions, you can select this under the RTR Goodies tab. You can also search for the best rakeback deals through this tab. To start using PokerPal, visit RakeTheRake.com/PokerPal. Once you've downloaded PokerPal, you'll have a valuable tool that will give you a serious edge over the competition.